Hello everyone. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Chicago. And before I start, I would like to thank the Viking Range Company and Middleby Residential for allowing me to come on your Instagram today. I am a guest on Instagram for the Viking Range Company and I couldn't be more thrilled. A little background about me, I've always loved the Viking Range Company. I've owned nothing but Viking Ranges in my home. So I'm super thrilled to be part of this today, and I'm super thrilled to have an audience on their actual Instagram. So I'm going to take you guys down a path today that I once lived on, and that was living in Italy. I used to live in a small town called Imola, Bologna. After I graduated from the Culinary Institute of America, I was awarded a scholarship to travel to Italy, and that was a dream of mine. Imagine this young chef winning a scholarship, so 14 chefs and myself go to Italy and we learn all about Italian cuisine for months and months and months, and we end up with a certificate, a master's certificate in Italian cuisine. So I am a graduate of the Culinary Institute of America, but I also have a master's certificate in Italian cuisine, and I love all types of food. It's not just Italian. I have Italian bloodlines in my family. I am an American with Italian parents and grandparents. So that said, I respect all different types of cuisine, but I wanted to share a really special recipe that I learned when I was in Italy. So imagine me with way too much clothing going to Italy and living in this cute little apartment on the piazza of Imola, Bologna. So when you opened up your big giant windows, for real, you saw the piazza where the church was and where the people would gather. So it was a really beautiful, charming apartment with stone floors, and it wasn't expensive. It was this very normal apartment according to their standards, but it was so beautiful when I got there. Now, don't get me wrong, they did not have a Viking Range, nor did they have a washer and dryer, so that was challenging, but I did it. But my point is that I want to take you with me back to that time in my life when I learned about the simplest recipes. And it's really the simplest recipes that stay with you all of your life. So that said, I'm really proud to be in my home kitchen. I dressed up for you today because why not? It was beautiful and sunny and I wanted to look cute. But I also want to take you on this very elegant ride, through the luxury of my past. And I've gotten to travel this road with amazing appliances, kitchen appliances. So I feel like I want to take you down the road to this little Italian restaurant in Imola, Bologna, where I was this young budding chef learning about recipes. But this recipe was actually given to me by the little Italian lady who lived underneath my apartment. Every night she would cook something different, and she would leave a dish for me, believe it or not, knowing that I worked at the best restaurant in town, of her food. So, this is my Viking 5 Series range. I love it. It's my little red star in my kitchen. But the recipe, we're going to go here now, is very simple. So today, we are going to learn an incredibly simple recipe. And if I go rogue a little bit, guys, don't be mad. If I go rogue, it's just because that's cooking. Cooking allows you to put whatever you want into the dish and make it your own. You have the base recipe on this feed, and I'm sure Viking's going to post it. And I'm going to use the base recipe. Maybe I'll tweak it a little bit just for fun, but it's going to be a really easy dish that I learned when I was in Italy. And really, my parents made a version of it. My sisters would make a version of it. Lots of people have their versions. It's just like pizza. Pizza in America is completely different from pizza in Italy. A lot of things are different, yet the same. Chinese food in China, not the same Chinese food we have here. Now, don't get me wrong, I love both, but they're different. I encourage you to make this dish different. Make it your own, but it's a classic and it's simple. The great thing about it are its ingredients. Now, I hope you guys at home, and I'm going to have a little bit of a question and answer phase to this demonstration. I want to know how you guys are doing. I want to know if you have any questions about what can I do with this product or that product. I'm here for you to help you understand ingredients. And that's what I think I do best, or maybe that's what I've learned as a chef, is that ingredients are really the paints on your palette. And you get to use them any way you like to create your own Picasso. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So it makes perfect sense to me. So we're gonna have some fun today in the kitchen. And we're gonna allow ourselves to just be free and create a dish that really brings me back to that special place. So it got to the point where I love this dish. Simple ingredients, but it was like something that made me feel like I lived in the apartment, but I really belonged in the apartment. And the smell of this dish is just astounding. And it's so simple, but I encourage you to make it your own. And I'm gonna give you a few ideas along the way. Remember guys, if you have questions, we're gonna turn it over to you. I wanna know how you're faring in this climate. I wanna know what you need to know about cooking. I wanna know if you have any questions about our brand. What we're doing with our brand, little side note, is incredible. The Viking Range Company is a whole new company. Our mother company, the Middleby Corporation, has actually fortified and allowed this brand to go to a whole different level. Still keeping it so simple with great ranges, but the technology, the innovation, the style, lots of new colors coming out. I mean, I'm so proud to be part of this company. I actually also design the Middleby Residential Showroom, so I'm a chef and a designer. But I can't tell you how much passion and joy it brings me to watch customers coming into our showrooms that are always filled with smells. We've got one in New York, one in California. We've got great chefs that work for us, Jackie Rotham and Sharon Sessler. These people are great chefs that have a lot of energy. Please come and visit our beautiful Viking showrooms because they're not your typical thing. There's energy, there's love for food and design and style, but they're places like no other on earth. Just letting you know, for my first showroom, I won an award, and a pretty big one, so I'm pretty happy about that. Let's get to the recipe. All right, here we go. Now the recipe, guys, is, again, extremely simple, extremely simple. It's chicken thighs. We've got on the ingredients, we've got chicken thighs, we've got red bell peppers, tomato, green peppers. I threw in yellow peppers. It's not in the recipe you're gonna see, but why not? They look so pretty this morning. I've got some onions, I've got some garlic, oregano, cracked black pepper, red chili flake. Spoiler alert, I saw these in my cabinet this morning, and if you have them at home, they're not just for salads, folks. Some really nice black olives, some sourdough bread, some wine, and great energy. That's what you need when you're cooking. So whenever you approach that range, right guys? When you approach, and hopefully you all have our product, and if you don't, you'll get there. But let's just say when I approach the range, I approach the range with all my positive energy. I want to make the greatest dish, and I want to share that food love, right? I'm all about sharing that food love. So that's what it's really about. When you approach your range, I want you to think about your range, no matter what it is, a cooktop, a fireplace, a campfire. Allow yourself to be part of the energy that goes into that flame. And on our brand, the flame is what it's all about. I am so crazy about the way our brand knows, especially now with Middleby behind us, how cooks want to cook, how chefs need to cook. All that, we're all at home today. Most of us hopefully are at home, but we're learning about cooking. And I want you to stick your feet in the ground and really stand in your power and allow yourself to be a great cook. Why? Because it's not that difficult. Just put yourself into it. Here we go with the recipe. Right now, here are the chicken thighs. So I've got a package of 4 chicken thighs. This will feed, I don't know, this will feed a nice family of 6 perhaps. You want to make some rice on the side. You want to make some steamed peas or broccoli on the side. You want to do a beautiful, I don't know, salad, mixed green Italian salad. So simple. Cucumbers, sliced carrots, zucchini, red wine vinegar, olive oil. Yum, simple, easy, crunchy, delicious, fresh on the side. I love a good salad with this dish. So this beautiful little Italian grandma used to be downstairs and she used to watch me. She was the cutest thing. But the smell, right now it's cooking in my range. It smells like me walking in the door, and I hope that I can bring this memory to you when you try this dish. Here we go with the recipe. 4, and it could be 6, maybe it's 3, doesn't matter. I'm gonna take my ring off. Doesn't matter. It matters. You know, this recipe has not a lot of. There's not a lot of ingredients, but there's really not. It's not science here. It's energy, right? So to this dish, I'm gonna add some of my red peppers. Now, if I don't use all my ingredients, it's because we're at home right now prepping for later, and I'm gonna use these ingredients in a sauce or a pizza or something else. So that's a tip. Maybe if you're at home, don't just cook for the recipe, prepare yourself for the week with the ingredients that they are fresh. Take these ingredients, put them in a Ziploc bag with a paper towel, keep them moist and fresh. They'll be your friends all week. So I've got red peppers, I've got onions, I've got yellow peppers, which you will not see on the original recipe that you have. Don't need them, but they sure look pretty. I've got green onions going in. And then I've got some tomato. This little cute grandma used to make me this dish. She was adorable. And she used to put it on my doorstep, usually on Sunday or Saturday afternoon. And then I would in turn bring her things from the restaurant. We just had this great cooking relationship. So again, with cooking, it's all about the relationship you have with the ingredients. Learn about spices. They're breaking up my street here. Let me get my window. Technical difficulties. Okay, so let's get back to the recipe. So in this bowl, and this is ironically, and I wanted to share these bowls with you. These were bowls that I actually had bought, gosh, 23 or 25 years ago when I was in Italy. Do you know how hard it is to carry these in a backpack all over Italy? I did it, and they didn't even break. But that's one thing about, you know, energy, right? That's one thing about decor, is that you can have something that can bring back a beautiful memory, whether it's a place you've been or a friendship that you've shared or a relationship from the past with your ancestors. Maybe they're passing down something and that reminds them of you. Really, really important when you're cooking, find those bowls that have meaning, because everything you cook in them turns out beautiful. It's something so, I think, under known. It's like, and if that's a word, it's like where things carry an energy. And I love cooking in these bowls because it brings me back to my little Italian grandma. That said, I've got all my vegetables in the bowl, correct? Except for my potatoes, which I've got here. And when I peel my potatoes, I slice them in big chunks because I want them to be chunky in the dish. Remember, there's a visual aspect to this dish that reminds me of just the way the Nonna used, and I used to call her Nonna, even though she wasn't my own. I made her my own because she was so cute. This dish now is ready for the next level. So I've got my onions, peppers, tomatoes. Now guys, you want to use a tomato product instead of fresh tomatoes, and you have this at home. These are just diced tomatoes. These happen to be fire roasted. Thank you for finding them. This could also go into the dish at this point if you don't have fresh tomatoes. Try to make this easy on you. If you don't have peppers, fresh peppers, use roasted peppers in the jar. That's okay. That's not, you know, nothing is like, no, there's not a recipe, well, I don't know. There are some recipes that need to stay the same, but most recipes can be adapted into making them your own. So you see the way I'm breaking this garlic, guys? I have the whole clove, and I'm using one of my Viking knives. By the way, Viking has an incredible line of knives and pots, and you'll see some of them that I'm using today. Unfortunately, this is not one of their bowls, but who knows? So I'm throwing in some garlic cloves. You see how worried I am about how things look? Because it's pesante, it's peasant style. It's rugged, it's very country style food. I have sourdough bread here as well, and I've toasted some sourdough because it's gonna be delicious when you dunk it into the end result. Trust me and believe. All right, so now you have the measurements, but I'm gonna do it by eye because that's how I cook. but I'm showing you the way I cook because I think you can cook the same way. So over here, I've got some white wine. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, but it's a little too early in Chicago. So I'm gonna pour in, that's about, I don't know, you have the recipe, but it's about 1/3 a cup, 1/2 a cup of wine. I also have olive oil, and I'm gonna drizzle my olive oil over my chicken because I know the end result is that I want something that looks very Italy. Already you see the colors of the flag. Now I'm gonna add in oregano. Are we seeing this? Can you guys see this? That's oregano. If you want to throw another tablespoon, guys, go for it. You want to throw some sun-dried tomato paste in here, go for it. You want to throw some spices that you love in here, go for it. You want to make it a little bit more spicy, go for it. All right, so I'm going to add some chili flake. It's a pinch. Are we seeing that, guys? And then some cracked black pepper and my salt. Do you see how easy that is? Do you see that? Now, today I decide to allow myself to get even more creative, and I thought, wait a minute, I opened the cabinet and I saw some black olives, and I thought, why not? I also have artichoke hearts. Why not? It makes it your own, right? It's still gonna come out the same way, so you know what? I'm gonna throw some black olives in here. Just saying. Just saying. So, now, do you need to marinate it? You don't. Is it better if you do? It is. I want to make sure I have all my ingredients in the bowl, and I do. It's definitely something at this point, like a salad, you want to sort of toss. And it's got all those ingredients in there. The only thing I didn't put in here was that little red wine vinegar zhuzh that I talked about. I talked about adding a little bit of red wine vinegar at the end. But this is what you want to end up with. You want to almost, this is a gourmet, well, it's a raw chicken salad, folks, but you don't want to eat it at this point. You want to leave it in the bowl to marinate, and honestly, if you don't have the time, it's okay. It's still going to be wonderful. You want to add red wine? Go for it. You want to add a little bit of brandy? Go for it. Am I opening up your minds a little bit? Cooking is fun. Cooking is a release. Cooking is all about creation and energy. This dish, you have the classic recipe. We gave that to you. But I encourage you to say, you know what, Chef Jamie? I'm going to take this to a different level. And I'm going to do it, I'm going to make it my own. Or appreciate what it is that this is grandma's recipe. I'm not trying to be grandma. Grandma and the nonna made this. It was just so simply delicious. All right, so now, let's imagine in our mind's eye that this has definitely been in your refrigerator. You could even do it for 24 hours. I recommend 2 hours, 3 hours, if that, or not at all, which I'm gonna do today. So, you're gonna take a tongs. I don't like handling raw chicken too much, but I want you guys to think about what we have here, okay? You've got a marinated chicken dish. Let me clean off my counter here, because you know, that's the great sign of a good cook, not even a chef, is that they respect their environment. My environment is so clean, especially nowadays, what we're all doing. It's all about the cleanliness factor. So here we go. In the bottom of my casserole dish, I got a little bit of oil. So simple, this recipe. I then want to create a base. So maybe I'm going to use a few of the potatoes as like the framework, a few of the tomatoes to build up the chicken, because ultimately I want to cook the chicken out, and that's the most important thing. So I'm going to put the chicken breast on top of the potato. I'm going to put the chicken breast on top of the tomato. You see what I mean about the shelf? They become the shelf. And when you think about cooking, especially in a Viking range, when you're cooking, especially if you're baking or you're broiling, you're talking about really insanely, unbelievably accurate commercial grade cooking. So on our ranges, you have to remember that these are professional quality with the parts and pieces that chefs are used to. So that's why I've always loved the brand, is that I get that result. So why I'm telling you this is that the things that you're putting on the bottom of the pan are going to get affected if you're baking. Why? Because the heat's coming up and hitting the bottom of the pan. Okay, here we go. I'm going to finish by putting some of the chicken on maybe the bottom of the plate. Why? Because maybe somebody wants a nice crispy brown bottom. Nothing wrong with that. So now I got the rest of my vegetables. Remember, my friends, that this is going to be what your dish is going to look like in the end. So you want to design it. Use the word design because you're all designers to me. Everyone has the ability to do something beautiful. Remember that. And everything matters, especially fear. If you're afraid to cook, that's actually a good sign. I want you to use that fear and turn that fear into, I don't know, cheer of some sort. Allow yourself to get in there and make this happen. Cooking is not difficult. It's just a matter of making it one with the way and who you are. Look at this. So guys, my point is that I know when I put this in my Viking range, I'm not moving it. I'm not turning it. I'm not even going to move it at all. But I know the end result is going to be so gorgeous right now because I'm exposing all of my chicken skin. I'm exposing the tops of my potatoes because I want them to look beautifully roasted. So with that said, I'm going to grab this guy and turn him upside down because I want the face of these potatoes to be browned and beautiful. I'm going to take the rest of my marinade and I'm going to pour it over the chicken, just like so. Why? Because this becomes part of the chicken juice, the sauce. Now, remembering that this is coming out of the oven and it's going to be super beautiful when it comes out, you have the opportunity now in the last few seconds to make it even more beautiful. So that said, I'm looking at my chicken and I'm saying to myself, when this comes out of the oven, I want there to be a beautiful piece of roasted garlic. I'm going to place him there. I want to place another one there. That's her, and she's going there. And then I want a little bit more oregano on my chicken. Now, it's not part of the recipe, but it's part of the idea that you can make this beautiful in the end. Take that extra little second to make it beautiful, right? Everything matters. So that one little minute that you can walk away from the recipe or even a beautifully designed room and say, what can I do more to make this amazing? Take that moment. I'm telling you, the gold is in that, the silver lining is in that tip. Walk away from anything that you're doing. Anything. If you're writing a book, if you're writing a poem, step away from it for a second and think, okay, universe, I'm allowing myself to really understand that I can make this in this second. That one little thing I can promise you is the thing that people notice. At least that's my experience. So I know that when this comes out of the oven, sorry, this is going to be really, really pretty. Again, I can't stop. If you want to do some lemon and you want to slice some lemon, let's do it. Let's do it. And I'm going to post this on Viking's Instagram. You want to roast some lemon up here in the corner? Why not? Guess what we're going to do with that lemon? Guess what? I'm going to season it a little bit with salt so the juices get extracted. When this is roasted lemon and I take it out of the dish and I serve it on the plate with maybe some rice or some peas or salad, whatever, I'm going to take those roasted lemons and I'm going to squeeze that over the chicken when it's done. And it's going to be hot and juicy and delicious, and it's also going to add to the flavor. So I'm going to pop this into my Viking 5 Series range. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, but I want to ask some questions, or maybe I want to answer some questions. Are there any comments, Rich, or something that someone has said?
As far as the knives,
yes.
Talking about the Viking knives.
Yes. So Viking has a full line of pots and pans and knives and cutting boards, and it's just, and when I tell you quality stuff, I want to let you know that it is. So here we go. This is the finished dish. As you can see, roasted potatoes, beautiful, beautiful caramelized chicken skin. The flavors, I'm smelling the hallway of me walking into that Italian apartment. I really, really, really appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope this recipe helps you become a more expanded cook. Remember that we're all here at home, and some great tips for you at home. are to utilize ingredients that you don't understand. Take them out of the cupboard. And do we have a question?
Yeah. So as far as sharpening knives at home, any tips?
Yes. So, all right, here's a great tip. In my kitchen, I have these stones, these sharpening stones. I think that it's really smart for people that own good knives, like the Viking knives or some great knives, that you learn how to sharpen a knife. There are machines out there that aren't good. There are machines out there that are good. Find the best rated ones to sharpen your knife. But it's super easy, and I may do that again and show you guys how to sharpen your knife properly. It's super easy to keep your knife sharp. Now, here's the thing. You know a great cook when you go into their house or into their homes and their knives are sharp. When you come into my house, I can guarantee you, you can cut with my knives. They're not hard to maintain. There's the honing stick that you can use every time, before and after, but every once in a while you want to give it and bring back the edge to a nice sharpening. It's really important to have sharp knives. The most important thing is that these days is that you want to keep them away from, hazard, like your children.
So people are loving the lemon tip.
Yes.
As far as roasting that, as far as using the griddle on the range.
Yes. So
I would love to see a video using the griddle.
Absolutely, and I have to tell you guys about these products a little bit. To me, I've worked in restaurants my whole life. The reason why I have a Viking range in my home and that I have Viking products in my home, especially now with Middleby behind them, just to give you a quickie, Middleby is a huge company that focuses on commercial cooking. They've now acquired Viking and they're injecting all of this innovation and quality into the brand. So your Viking products of today, although they were always known for great cooking, are not the same products. They're so much better because of the Middleby innovation. So that said, you're getting a lot of quality, a lot of parts and pieces from the commercial side of other companies that they own to make this a better product. I hope that answered the question.
Mm-hmm. As far as actually like recipes for the griddle.
Oh, for the griddle, yes. So with that said, and I digress, the griddle, all right, so there's so many things you can do on a griddle. Guys, besides eggs and bacon and the obvious pancakes, you can do stir fries. You can do all kinds of Mexican food. You can do Mongolian beef. You can do so many things on a griddle. Now, cooking on a griddle is easy. Once you understand it, it's kind of like a woman that came into our Chicago showroom and she said to me, I don't know how to get these 6 brown rings off of my griddle. And I said, what else did you cook on your griddle? She said, just those things. I said, were they scallops? She said, yes. I said, nothing else? She said, no. I said, do yourself a favor. Go home, get a pound of bacon, throw it on your griddle, and cook on it. The more you cook on it, just like a cast iron skillet, the more seasoned it gets, and the better it gets. So you want that grill to look, you want it to be clean, and there's a way to clean it, but you want it to be your friend. And you can boil pasta even on it. If you need it as a satellite burner, you can use it as a warmer. That's my favorite thing. When you have food that's already prepared, you can put that on the warmer. So recipes that pertain to the griddle, there's so many. My favorite thing to do on a griddle is sear like steaks. Any other questions?
People are saying that this looks amazing.
Thank you. Well, guys, it's been a real pleasure to be with you today. This is the finished product of my chicken dish. As you can see, it's beautiful, brown, delicious, and it looks pretty, but this is a dish also that would be even good later. You can take this, pull the chicken apart, throw it into a salad with mayonnaise and celery and maybe some apples and make a really beautiful, rich chicken salad. So it doesn't need to be served hot. It can be served warm. I love it cold in a salad. It's just a friendly dish. Just like our brand, I thank you so much for coming into my home. If there are any questions, now's the time.
Chicken breast versus chicken thighs.
Okay, so good question. Thank you very much. On chicken breasts, chicken breasts are one of those things. They're either really thick or you pound them down to be thin for different applications and different recipes. So I love when it's on the bone. Something like this should always be on the bone in my opinion. So a nice chicken breast on the bone, treat it the same exact way. If you want this to cook faster, cover it with a little bit of foil. I had it in my Viking range at 350 for 45 minutes and it came out perfect. So this is an easy dish, very cost effective, very economical. It can stretch throughout the week. Delicious on some, why don't I do it? Why don't I show you? So I've got some toasted sourdough right here. And I've been making my own sourdough, which has been incredible, thanks to one of our Middleby chefs who enlightened me on sourdough bread. So here's how I would serve this thing. I would take some of those toast points, and I would make sure it was in some of the sauce down there. I'm going to turn it your way, guys. Because I had lemon juice on the mind, I just want to taste this with lemon. I'm going to just take a little fresh lemon juice and squeeze it over the top. Maybe some fresh parsley, delicious over a tossed arugula salad, or some really great sauteed spinach. So simple, so good. I enjoyed sharing my time with you guys. One more question?
Yeah, as far as what could you do with this, as far as a leftover, how would you do something different with this for a leftover?
Yeah, absolutely. So leftovers on this dish don't make it very far in my house, gotta be honest. Something about it cold is just delicious. Love it. So leftovers, if you wanted to do a stir fry and you wanted to pull all that chicken off the bone, or if you wanted to do, like last night I made an incredible polenta in my kitchen. If you wanted to make some polenta and then have the shredded chicken, maybe some sauteed escarole over the polenta and then have the chicken shredded on top. You want to use it in another type of cuisine like tacos, go for it. Great for breakfast with a poached egg over the top of it, maybe on some toast with some marmalade.
Panzanella salad?
Who said that?
Middleby, New York.
Middleby, New York, of course. Of course you did. Of course you did.
Fried
Jack
rice.
Ratham. Yes. Any more
Chicken
ideas?
pot pie.
Yes. All these ideas are amazing. You could use them in a burrito. You can use them over many types of grains. Mix it into a grain salad with some chopped cucumbers and peppers and onions. Make a really fresh quinoa salad and chop all that chicken in there. So many levels of deliciousness happening here. So that said, it's been a delicious time here in my kitchen. I enjoyed everybody asking me the questions. Thank you so much, Viking Range, for having me on your Instagram page. I hope this recipe was helpful. I hope I helped you guys expand your orchestra of cooking ability. And it's been an incredible time. Richard Lane? No questions?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
No more
so
questions.
We're good. So thank you so much to our cameraman. Thank you so much for my dogs who have been so good. You guys, please stay safe at home. Wash your hands. Take care of your family. Stay safe. Be at home. Do this for the world, and cook at home with all of your heart. Make something beautiful. Share something amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love you guys. It's been an amazing time, and I hope you enjoy the recipe. Peace out.